Our Saviour Jesus Christ has destroyed death and brought life to life through the gospel.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
This area was filled with wrecked houses, got them pulled down, cleared it all out, and made a garden where there was desolation. It's true. I was asked to stop teaching and come to Camden. And that was my greatest gift that I could ever have been given. And that was in 1968.
Father Michael Doyle's neighborhood in Camden, New Jersey is buzzing with activity and art.
Well, I think it was it Gandhi that said that the poor need beauty more than they need bread? We have a big obligation in the poorest place to create beauty for the people.
One by one, houses are being rehabbed and artists are moving in. Where there used to be an empty lot, organic produce is being grown and heirloom chickens are being raised. Ask anyone and they'll tell you it has everything to do with Father Michael Doyle and Sacred Heart Church.
Everything starts with Father Doyle, everything. Every group, every house that's been rebuilt, every arts group that's come in, the Heart of Camden group that rebuilds the houses themselves.
Miraculously, we now have a beautiful theatre, and it's the first live theatre built in Camden in 100 years.
It was my grandfather's bar from the 1930s to the late 1960s when he died. He died in 1967. My grandmother sold it in 68. It used to be full of shipbuilders from New York Shipbuilding Company. It was full of Campbell Soup employees, full of RCA employees. You know, when Camden was such an industrial hub, people had their own neighborhood bars, and there were many in this neighborhood. And as a kid, I spent weekends in there. You know, my parents would drop my brother, my sister, and I off on Friday, along with my mother's three other sisters dropping off their kids, and that was our afternoon like adventure to always come to this part of Camden and hang out. We wanted to just try to do fix up the building itself, save it, and turn it into a theater, because it just seemed to me a good place for a theater. I don't know. They ended up having to demolish the building, which was terrible in a lot of ways and wonderful in a lot of ways. It's going back in time. I mean, I'm standing here now, I'm 11 years old again. It's really cool. It's like wow, I remember all of this stuff, and the dial phones and these old bar stools.
Did you get that? You want to do it again?
It's a play that I wrote, and it tells the story of Camden from 1968 through 92, told through the eyes of 4 members of a fading Polish-American club that used to be in the Polish section of Camden. And at the same time, it really lets you kind of feel the subtext of racism that went on in cities like this as they were changing, where everybody was looking for somebody to blame. So I just thought that this year was the time to really tell a Camden story from a theater company in Camden that you have to come to Camden to see.
Father Doyle hopes that one building in particular will become the Nick Virgilio Writer's House, named for the American haiku poet Nick Virgilio, a Camden native who found a home in the community that revolves around Sacred Heart Church. He died in 1989.
Our church became his community. It was a great place for trying out haiku, and we would go to hear his readings. So Sacred Heart became like a family for him.
After the bell, within the silence, within myself.
Carved in the podium here is Nick's most famous poem, Lily, out of the water, out of itself. It's kind of miraculous here. I'm in charge of noticing and acknowledging miracles, a full-time job.